podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
When most people think of human trafficking, they probably imagine that it happens in big cities or foreign countries. But according to authorities, trafficking is also happening right here in North Carolina. And it is in many ways tied to our nation's current immigration debate. We learn more in this report produced by Gabrielle Dean and Elon University. We note that this story presents the issue of human trafficking in a frank nature.
Several years ago, Danielle Mitchell was hired to work on a documentary about sex tourism in Thailand and Cambodia.
When I was there, we realized that most men that were traveling over to Thailand to buy a girl for an hour or a little boy for an hour, that they had already done it in their own country. So I came back to the United States and started trying to figure out, okay, is there trafficking happening in the U.S.?
Mitchell found that the U.S. is one of the #1 demand countries in the world for human trafficking, and that trafficking has been reported in both rural and urban areas all across North Carolina.
Started hearing more and more about human trafficking, and it's kind of one of those things that once you learn about it, you can't really walk away from it.
Mitchell closed her graphic imaging company and took a job as the Anti-Human Trafficking Program Manager for World Relief North Carolina, a faith-based nonprofit organization. Around the same time, the Guilford County Sheriff's Department received a 3-year grant from the Department of Justice to combat trafficking. So Mitchell began collaborating with Detective Tommy Sluter, the department's new human trafficking investigator.
We partner up with different community groups and do outreach to the Hispanic community, the Asian community, our street walker community. We do various things with those groups to give them information and let them know that, hey, human trafficking is here in Guilford County and in North Carolina, and they may be part of it and don't know it.
Sluter found that his department was struggling to reach the Latino community. To improve the situation, he decided to talk to Cristina Palacois, the pastor at a local Spanish language ministry.
They said, we're finding that we need a lot more help from the community. People don't understand how prevalent human trafficking is. They don't understand what it is. And we are not getting much cooperation from the Latino community. And we all sort of said, well, duh. You know, we didn't say it quite that way, but, you know, this is just kind of obvious. There's just so much fear of any law enforcement.
Sluter and Mitchell say this fear is in many ways connected with the vigorous political debate currently surrounding immigration.
Where they're from, their law enforcement are part of the problem. And there is fear of deportation and removal from the country if the person here is undocumented.
And a lot of that has to do with different immigration policies that are out there right now.
Policies like the controversial 287G program, which permits select local law enforcement officers to perform immigration law enforcement functions, such as identifying and detaining undocumented immigrants under the supervision of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Many Latino advocates argue that this program creates a fear of deportation that undermines the immigrant community's trust in law enforcement. Detective Sluter believes that some people have interpreted 287G more broadly than it should be.
Its primary purpose is to go after the criminal aliens of the serious crimes: rape, murder, robbery, kidnapping, sex offenses, not seatbelts, not driving while license revoked, not having no insurance on your vehicle. We're talking the serious felons. I believe that other agencies have abused that, and therefore it has given us that stigma, and everyone the stigma that it's a bad program. It is an effective program if it is implemented correctly.
Detective Sluter says immigrants are particularly vulnerable to human trafficking because they are new to the country, they don't speak English, and they often don't know where to turn for help. Sluter asked Palacois and Mitchell to help him organize a series of meetings to connect with some of the important Latino advocates in Greensboro.
Although several of us are meeting at Faith Action tomorrow, I don't know if someone invited you, but you would be invited to meet with the deputies of Sheriff's Department.
So we're really just trying to have these meetings to build a bridge so that regardless of what's going on with immigration between law enforcement officers and these communities, that people that are victims of crimes can come forward and actually receive help.
But voluntary federal programs aimed at identifying and reporting undocumented immigrants in the legal system remain a source of contention.
Every time we tried to talk about human trafficking, my colleagues would say, but you don't understand. These folks will not talk to you because of 287G, because you're bringing secure communities. And so every 10 minutes we're getting sidetracked.
The communication breakdown is just something that was expected. I'm continuing to move forward and working with those groups and reaching out to them constantly.
It's hard to measure the success of something that's never really been done before, but I feel like ultimately what we desired to come from those meetings began to happen a little bit because we did get some contacts through that, and we were invited to come and speak at some different events and some different community groups.
Since doing this, we have seen an increase in the cooperation with our immigrant community, with our deputies and our detectives and myself. And I think that the trust is starting to build. It's going to take time. It's going to take us to prove ourselves and to show that we are here for the community no matter who you are, whether you have papers, whether you don't have papers. We don't care. If you're a victim of a crime, we need to take care of you.
The series of meetings to address human trafficking stopped after some disagreements, but Sluter, Mitchell, and Palacois are still optimistic about the groups continuing to work together in the future.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.